The motive remains unclear. An aviation student from Saudi Arabia opens fire in a deadly assault at a Naval Air Force base in Pensacola, Florida. Florida officials said a handgun was used in the attack, but kept most details private, as the investigation will now concern whether the attack was terror-related. It's reported that the student was a second lieutenant in the Saudi Air Force. Saudi state media didn't immediately respond publicly. But President Donald Trump tweeted that he received a call from King Salman, who offered sincere condolences to the family and friends of the warriors who were killed and wounded in the attack.
"34-year-old Audrey Mash went hiking with her husband on November 3rd, when things took a turn for the worse. The couple got lost, and Audrey went into cardiac arrest from severe hypothermia. But 6 hours after her heart stopped beating, doctors at Barcelona's Vall d'Hebron hospital were able to resuscitate her.
Amazing. It's like a miracle, except I think it's all because of the doctors.
I thought she was dead because I was trying to feel for a pulse, trying to feel for... My fingers were also numb, so I wasn't sure if it was my fingers, but I couldn't feel a breath. I couldn't feel a heartbeat or anything.
Audrey is Spain's longest documented cardiac arrest. When firefighters found the stranded couple in the Catalan Pyrenees, Audrey's body temperature was 18 degrees.
She's really dry. She's not eating anything.
This little girl is one of more than 4,000 Samoans who've contracted measles since the outbreak began. Most of the victims are young kids like her. This small Pacific nation is in a state of emergency. Red flags telling special teams which houses have non-vaccinated residents. Measles has taken hold in Samoa, partly because of fear. Last year, 2 children died when they were given incorrectly mixed vaccines. The deaths were exploited by anti-vax campaigners. This so-called anti-vaxxer, Edwin Tamasese, is now under arrest, charged with incitement against a government.
This helicopter was aiding firefighting efforts at the Jarrah Road fire at Girvan, which is just northeast of Newcastle. It's understood that the helicopter had to perform a hard landing. In other words, the engine was failing. It performed that hard landing and the engine has caught fire. There was only one person on board, that was the pilot, and they have emerged unscathed, which is the best outcome to come from that incident, that's for sure. There has been a decision to ground all other aircraft working in that area while there are checks carried out, safety checks carried out. We are still trying to get a bit more information as to exactly what the helicopter was doing, whether or not it was a water carrying helicopter or just being used for surveillance. But that news through a short time ago that a helicopter has crashed at the Jarrah Road fire at Girvan, just northeast of Newcastle.
At first glance, Brazeit University looks like an ordinary campus that could be anywhere in the world. That's because it is. The university in the occupied West Bank goes about its daily business. But the Israeli army says it's far from ordinary and that this campus is a recruitment center for what it calls terrorism and incitement to violence, according to its latest video. Since the beginning of 2019, 64 students have been arrested. In total, 80 students are in jail. The vast majority have yet to be convicted. This video from March 2018 shows Israeli Special Forces arresting a student on campus at gunpoint. The student's currently awaiting trial on charges of activities relating to the Hamas Islamic bloc, which is the student wing of the political party.
Now it seems criminals are targeting motorists along the N1 in Cape Town by hurling stones at cars. In recent weeks, there have been 2 incidents, one of them fatal. Last week, a PAL teacher died when a brick hit her husband's car on the N1 in Simon's Flame.
I think these are people, especially doing these things at the midnight hours and also late night hours where people don't expect them to be on our roads, especially on the N1 and also the N2. You know, the N1 and the N2 are freeways, and then pedestrians are not allowed to be on motorways. And when they do these stupid things, out of the dark, they throw stones and bricks to motor vehicles, and also, like the latest one near Sensory City, where they put obstacles on the freeway. And when the motorists try to stop, they stone the vehicle.
Prince Andrew, by the way, is going to get to keep his military titles in Canada. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Because despite his relationship with a convicted pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein, and accusations that Andrew slept with a 17-year-old girl who was a sex trafficking victim of Epstein. Remember, in the UK, they've already taken away his posts. So let's find out what's going to happen in Canada.
Andrew, the Duke of York, stepped down from public life last month after an awful BBC interview where he was very unsympathetic to Epstein's victims. Now, as you know, Canada is a Commonwealth country with tight ties to the UK and the royal family, Prince Andrew included. As Duke of York, he actually holds 3 honorary titles of Colonel-in-Chief of 3 Canadian Forces infantry regiments. Now, although Andrew said that he is stepping out of public life, he did not address his military roles in that statement, and that's left the Canadian Department of Defense questioning what do they do. They've never been in this position before.
Appearing before a judge today in Flint, Michigan, Gilbert Conway faces 86 counts of criminal sexual conduct, kidnapping, and other charges. Prosecutors say the alleged serial rapist had been stalking and recording his victims for nearly a decade.
In all my years, I've never had a case quite like this.
After raiding Conway's home, investigators say they seized 500 tapes, many of them years old. A trove of evidence still being reviewed.
We believe that he actually videotapes the sexual assaults while he commits them. We suspect there are dozens, maybe scores, maybe hundreds more victims.
Police say Conway was arrested after one of his alleged victims stepped forward. Investigators say that led to more victims and the discovery of hundreds of tapes inside his home.